Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm. No, other way. No, they just redid a new one. Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast making ancient wisdom relevant. This is episode 328 with your host, Raghunath, and co-host 1328, not 328. We've done 1,000 more than three.
Hey, close,
Okay.
but off by
1328 with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator of the Bhakti Center, New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. We're here live at the farm. We're winding down a really great weekend filled with lots of singing, connecting with people that we've only known by name, and sometimes mysterious people have just showed up. Just randomly, saw people walking down the back stairs. Hey, is there a kirtan going on? And it's very, very cool who you meet at these retreats. Seth Lieberman led a beautiful kirtan. Patrick was here yesterday. Oh, it's just Lucy came with her violins. Just a whole supporting crew. We had great chefs cooking for us, and yeah, we ate well, we sang well, we laughed well, and we're winding down today. And so it was nice because we have a good time.
Wonderful time.
Were you feeling a little ill, sick, a little sick?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, I'm fine.
You're good. Okay, good. Stuba was on. Mara was in great spirits. It was great. It was wonderful. And there's always like a little sadness when everyone packs up and leaves. But we're looking forward to everyone. We have a little thing we want to announce in LA. LA Rath Yatra. Ever been to the LA Rath Yatra? It's quite wonderful. Wisdom of the Sages is heading west and is holding a retreat for LA Rath Yatra goers at Veda Yoga in Los Angeles. That's our good friend Kumi who owns that studio. The dates are August 2nd through the 4th, and you can go to wisdomofthesages.com/events to register today.
Looking forward to that.
Any info, oh, that was the announcement. Okay.
Nothing about
nothing?
Bhakti Recovery Group?
I'm the mic. We have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings at 1, 2, and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we also have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings on in person in Nashville, Alachua, and Mayapur in New York City.
Nice. Are you mad at me today?
I was just looking for the microphone. That's all.
That's like you're a little mad. Because I said something really nice about you in class today. So today we're back in. We've been doing Q&A all weekend, and it's Monday. We did start a little late today at 8 o'clock. But we're going to dive in right back to the Bhagavatam.
I thought we were going to do a nugget.
Oh, we're going to do a nugget first, yeah. And here's the nugget. And this is from one of our favorite Bhagavatam quoters. Didn't really quote the Bhagavatam. He just quoted his introspective insight. And it was Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman
ruler and
Caesar.
philosopher.
Yeah. He said, people who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse. Okay, let me try that again. People who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse toward are wasting their time, even when hard at work. It's not saying you shouldn't work hard.
No.
It's just saying when it's not directed towards anything, it's just running a race that has no destination.
Yeah, life has to have a central purpose.
Essential.
We got to
purpose.
identify what it is.
I think a lot of self-help gurus even get into things like you need purpose. What is your purpose? What is the why that you're waking up for in the morning? And in Bhakti, we say that too, but we take it bigger because sometimes why is, well, I'm going to raise my family, or I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to get really dialed into my career. And we say, oh, that's good, but it's secondary. Make your connection the highest and use your breath, your thoughts, your work, your love, your friendships, your holidays, your vacations, make it all diving into that direct point. And it gives you the inspiration to wake up in the morning. We in our morning class today, which I recorded, by the way.
Thank you.
Which every day he tells me to record class, and every day I'm like, okay. Bree recorded it. Roger recorded it. Thank you. I stand corrected. Deal with you later. Now I forgot what I was going to say, but the idea was that
You gave a class,
talking
about some great stuff.
about some really good things in that class. Our purpose. I can't remember.
Okay.
And I'm going to blame Bridget for that. Huh? Yes, I can't remember.
Okay.
Thank you for all your encouragement. What do you got to
Was
say
that
about
tag?
that? Tag team.
Well, I love what you said. I want to start one, which is, like in spiritual circles or so-called spiritual circles or quasi-spiritual circles, there's sometimes you hear these kind of messages like, there should be no goal, right? It's all about the journey. They'll say it like that. It's all about.
It's about the journey,
right? It's not that there's nothing valuable in that. In other words, yeah, we should learn that like we're not just waiting to achieve something in the future, and that in the now there's, in the now we should be very aware and in touch. But the idea that there's no goal, that you should be so detached that there's no goal, that's not actually like an authentic yogic idea.
Sure.
That's like a quasi-spiritual new
quasi-spiritual people who work their asses so hard in the material world, they have to like pendulum the other way and say, there is no goal. It's nothing. It's just walking around.
Yeah. The idea is like, it's not that we're just meant to become detached from everything so that there's absolutely no goal, there's no aspiration, there's no target that we're aiming at. But it's that we're supposed to be detached from the things that prevent us from keeping that focus. Go ahead.
It's like we say, like that first Shelter record was called The Perfection of Desire.
Yeah.
Because desires, we understand, oh man, it's my desires that have been causing me so much chaos in my life. My desires have been pulling me here and pulling there. I've got to get rid of desires. Well, we can't get rid of desires. All you can do is refine your desires. So we say, stop desiring matter that won't fulfill our hearts. Start desiring spirit. It's redirecting that urge, that push, that focus, that direction. I think that's what we were talking about this morning.
There we go. We got there.
Yeah. So we got it back. Full circle.
So I wanted to read something from the Upanishads, which is like, informs all Vedanta and, bleeds into all the yoga teachings and so on. And this is a famous, passage from the Mundaka Upanishad. And this is a dialogue between the sage Shaunaka and Angira, the sages Shaunaka and Angira. On that, so this is like guru speaking to disciple, right? This is the training that a yogi gets, So it said, on that which is self-luminous, subtler than the subtle, all the worlds and their inhabitants are supported, right? Like that is the imperishable God. That manifests as life, speech, and mind. That is truth. That is immortal. That should be meditated on, O disciple. Meditate on it. Okay, so meditate on God, it's saying, right? That's behind everything. That's supporting everything. Then this, taking as a bow the great weapon of the Upanishads. Place on it an arrow sharpened by constant meditation, drawing back the bow with thought directed toward that target. O disciple, hit that mark, the imperishable. Om is the bow, the self is the arrow. God is said to be the target. He is to be known by those who are unfaltering. Then one becomes united as the arrow with the target.
It's so different how the modern yoga culture
Yeah.
teaches. There actually is a goal. It was the biggest relief to me because I immersed myself in spiritual books and spiritual teachings, but I never heard of like a goal
Right.
of where to go. Like, oh, there's a purpose. There's things to do every day that will help me get towards that goal.
Right.
There's ways to behave.
That's
there's
the way
ways to
materialists
There's
think.
ways to,
It's
yeah,
like,
it's material thinking, so it sounds material.
yeah, right.
Just be. What? Just, it's so pretentious.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
Just,
But what you said was so important. Where you started was like someone might think, but what?
I remember doing yoga once. I always tell this one. And I was doing yoga and in a class, and I'm flexible. So I like to do, like, the teacher says something, I'll do a little something extra. Not because I'm trying to show off, just because it's like if I don't move that part of my body, it's just, it feels stiff. So I'm doing Vashisthasana, and I'm grabbing my toe and I'm lifting up my other leg, and the teacher comes over like the Buddha and goes, "Do less, Raghunath. Do less." And I was like, "No, like, why does that? Why will that make me more spiritual if I do less?" It's like everything is sort of twisted and backwards because they don't understand moving towards the ego, moving towards like I'm the controller, I'm the owner, I'm the master. Yeah, don't do that. But if something can facilitate your freedom, your connection, your spirit, do more. Do tons more. Go crazy with that. Run with it. Wake up early. Stay up late. Do it.
All right. So thank
Do
you.
less.
Do less. Do less.
Who can be more quiet? Who can be more quiet today?
So, but I was saying, Raghunath, that where you started is so important, because if we're going to have that focus, people may feel it's, how can I have that focus? I have kids to raise. I have a job to do that has nothing to do apparently with my spiritual life. I have all these other concerns and they pile up. How can I possibly stay with this razor sharp focus? And it seems like the yogis of the past would go off to the forest so that they could have that focus. So there wouldn't be any distractions. But where you started, say, no, there's a way. And this is why Bhagavad-gita becomes really the most important influence of all of the text, is because that's where it showed that a working person, a person of this world, does not need to go away to the. As a matter of fact, that's where Arjuna starts, and Krishna's like, that's not going to work for you, Arjuna. You need to find a way to take your occupation and your worldly duties and focus them on the ultimate goal. Right. So the yogi has this goal, the bhakti yogi has this goal. My goal, right? My very clearly articulated goal is that in this life, I want to be moving towards and ultimately achieve pure prema, pure love of God, without any kind of, without any selfish motivation, just like pure love for God, pure love for every living being. That's my goal. I'm focused on that. My everything is dedicated to that. My family life, it also becomes part of that. My occupation, even if it's not direct, there's a way we can find that to make that a part of it. All of my duties, all of my responsibilities, they all become part of that. And that's where good guidance can help us reconceive of exactly what we're doing and bring it all, tie it all into that one goal.
It's
primary goal.
especially important for us because I'd say pretty much all of us are householders. We have a household. And it reminds me of Lindsay Scott, who's a great dedicated Zoomers, others, who's been with us since before the show even started practically. She asked this question. Now, little children.
Yep.
One's one and one's as pure devotional service. Look for me. like mothering these two little kids who need tons of attention at all times, tons of care, takes so much of our time. And my answer I gave was like, pure devotional service is going to look much different than you for you than if you were to be a single individual walking barefoot through India.
Yeah.
It's going to look much different. Maybe that's the classic archetype of pure devotional service. This is different. And I like this analogy a lot of like a mother cow is eating the grass, but it's like the third eye is always watching the cow. They're always, or a calf rather. The cow is eating the grass, but it's always got an eye on that calf.
And it's most important
What's
concern.
Yeah. So right now I got to eat the grass, but the real concern is that calf. Is that calf safe? And that's what we do. We just, wherever we are in the work of our world.
And even I'm eating the grass ultimately for the calf.
For the calf.
Right? So I
like
can produce milk
like
for the
that.
calf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything becomes tied. And you said even your vacation, like all these people here, they had some vacation. They took some, everyone has their Memorial Day weekend they're looking forward to.
Sure.
I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. Everyone decided I'm going to make my vacation time connected to that one goal.
You know what? Family vacations are nice. And like this year, I'm taking all my kids to Italy for our Italy retreat.
Tying it
And
right
in
in.
one sense, vacation, but in another sense, I was like, yeah, we're going to have a Italy vacation. You guys down for it? Yeah. But here's what we're going to do. Every morning, you got to come to the Sangha. Is that cool? Okay. All right. Sure. Cool. And the evening Sangha. Is that cool? Okay. And it's sort of like what we become in our outreach to the world and to our family and to our spouse that thinks I'm a little crazy, whatever, like that. We learn appropriate doses of medicine to kill them. To heal them.
To kill them. Just
kill their
just to
material.
gradually kill them without anybody knowing we did it.
Yeah, because if we don't, and that's if we don't give the medicine, we don't get over our material malady. If we give them too much, it's an overdose. So you got to know how much to give everyone. And sometimes you've seen a person, or you might have even met some bhakti yoga person who's like, "You're a total Maya. You better change your whole life. You better shave your head. Are you fool? Are you a fool?" And we're like, "Hey, dude, back off here." But if I don't give anything to the person, they never grow. I've always been caught as a teacher myself. I've been caught between that. I remember there's that one time, especially when I was just teaching yoga lots, I'd chant with people. I'd give little Bhagavad-gita shlokas in the class. I'd give some spiritual insight. But if people asked me further, well, what should I do? I wouldn't give. I just feel like I would back off a little bit. And then I remember one day, it was Sri Govinda.
Okay.
And we were at a retreat. And Sri Govinda came to the retreat. Back then he was Ian. And he wasn't like following the principles or chanting. He was chanting one round a day. And then he met his wife now, Shameshwari. She's a very fired up, fixed up, Shamasundari, I'm sorry. Very fired up, fixed up, serious yogini, bhakti yogini. And they sat down together and he's like, "Do you chant?" He goes, "Yeah, I chant one round a day." And she's like, "You've been into this for how long? You just chant one round a day?" And she started like, and I was like, and then I was overhearing the conversation and I was like, "Oh, she's being too pushy." But it completely changed him. It completely changed him. And he started like really cleaning up his whole life and started chanting seriously. And I was like, man, I got to push more. I got to give more medicine sometimes. I can't be so backing off. But at the same time, I don't want to, it's our duty to find the balance when we're extending our hand to people, how much they need and how much, and it's delicate because we care and we want people to grow as we grow. And that's part of our growth is to become that expert physician.
Beautiful, Raghunath.
Yeah.
Thank you. You ready?
Always.
Now we dive into the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chattamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiriyat. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki by regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 46. We're in it. O Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Who's speaking?
This is Prahlad.
That's right.
Young Prahlad, 5 years old.
Who's he speaking to?
He's speaking to Lord Nrsingadev.
Who is?
Lord Nrsingadev is the avatar of Vishnu, who's half man and half lion.
All right.
Half just killed a great demon, offering prayers, and he's pacifying this very ferocious incarnation of the Lord. Usually when we hear these stories of, usually the avatars of Vishnu aren't so ferocious. You see a more loving side, but Nrsingadev is
There's
the
a few
protector of the
ferocious
devotees.
ones.
A few ferocious ones. Parshuram's pretty ferocious.
Parshuram,
Got an
Kalki.
attitude. Kalki's got some issues with the
Ram,
demons.
you don't mess with Ram.
Yeah. But generally we get the
But he's
loving
generally
thing,
soft.
but Nrsingadev has this row, like a lion.
But we're just getting to the point. These prayers are there. He's cooling down. He's cooling down, and he's about to get real soft. But this is what we're. This is. I think you're going to find this a fascinating verse.
Speak less. Speak less.
Okay. And, but this is Vyasadev's way, the composer of all the Vedic literature, of highlighting something, highlighting a message, something we were talking about in our studies over the past couple of days. That there's a somewhat of a hidden message, somewhat of a secret message through all of his works, but not everybody was able to pick up on it. So when he got to the Bhagavatam, which is like his kind of conclusion of it all, he starts to really push things forward. And there's a message in this verse, and
It's the finished masterpiece. Just sometimes you see people building a building, and it starts off, they just do the framing, and they're like, oh, the cement. Interesting, cool. What's going on here? Then they put up the framing. It's like, okay, all right. And then as they actually start building it out and the thing is built, you're like, wow, that's it. That's what the Bhagavatam is. It's everything fully built out, and it's beautiful.
Okay.
Like,
And
I just
it
came up with that analogy now.
It's all right, but there's more to it. Do less, Raghu. Just do less. Because it no, because of this, and this is the reason why. Because it explains everything in the past, right? It's not just like it built up to a conclusion. That's there for sure. But it's also explains everything that had been spoken of before. That's why it's a little
Explains the basement.
okay.
Let's go on.
Ready?
A Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are 10 prescribed methods on the path of liberation.
Oh, what are they?
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
To remain silent.
It's one. Ona Vrata.
Not to speak to anyone.
It's the same thing.
To observe vows. To amass all kinds of Vedic knowledge. To undergo austerities. To study the Vedas and other Vedic literatures. To execute the duties of Anashram Dharma. To explain the Shastras. To stay in a solitary place. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Like solitary confinement, like in prison, could be a spirit. If you were in the right frame of mind, you'd be like, I'm for this. To chant mantras silently, and to be absorbed in trance.
Okay. These are all very, if you read through the Upanishads, if you read through these ancient texts, if you hear from different masters, they're going to glorify these practices and say that these are the way to understand truth. These are the way to achieve freedom, to achieve liberation. Prahlad's got a little bit of a different slant on it.
These different methods for liberation are generally only a professional practice and means of livelihood for those who have not conquered their senses, meaning they're trying to impress.
Yeah.
We see that with Vedic arts. I've seen these like guys leading kirtan in India. They're like professionals. They're professional kirtan people.
Yeah,
Ever see
right.
them?
I have.
And they do very dramatic. It's sort of cool too. But it is
Sort of cool.
It is sort of cool, but it's a show. If they're putting on a show,
Right,
so they're very lots of hands, but it's a performance, and you feel like it's a performance. It's different when you hear a bhakta speak about it.
A real,
You know what we
yeah.
called people like that when we were little?
Fakers,
Posers.
posers.
Yeah, like a posers. Like we're all at the hardcore scene. We look pretty normal in the hardcore scene. Then there's one guy that comes with a fan mohawk and a classic leather jacket and plaid pants. We're like, who's this poser? Doesn't really know the music, but he's just showing up and he's like, I mean, you and me were like, poser. So sometimes you go to India, you see these professionals, and there's not real judgment, but when you see the bhaktas, you just feel like there's no pretense here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you really feel that non-pretentiousness, then
Yeah.
it moves you in another way.
Hmm.
So he's pointing out hypocrisy. He's saying that, all these qualities, being silent and living alone and amassing Vedic knowledge and undergoing austerities. I think to the Western mind, we're like, why would anyone want to do that? But in India, these things are really respected.
Sure.
It's like, wow, this person, you see someone live that life and you think they deserve respect. They deserve some honor. They deserve some donation. They deserve, some
Right.
fame. They deserve you start to get these rewards for it. If one's not careful, they start doing these things which are supposed to detach one from material things. You start doing them for the material rewards.
The desire for honor is huge.
It's a subtle one, but it's powerful.
It's subtle, but it's like such a huge hurdle to get over.
Yeah.
The desire for other humans to validate me.
Right. Now he's going to conclude this. This is real important.
These different methods for liberation are generally only a professional practice and means of livelihood for those who have not conquered their senses. Because such persons are falsely proud, these procedures may not be successful.
Okay. So this question of pride becomes really important here. All of these practices that were mentioned, nothing wrong with them. Prahlad's not saying they're bad, but he's going to show that there's a central focus, right? There's something that's most important. All of these are done when they're done well, when they're done, they're done well when they're done for the central purpose. If I'm doing them and I'm not focused on that central purpose, then really I'm just wasting my time. I look like a deeply spiritual person because of these external practices, but I haven't really understood. And he's to help us understand what's the difference. What's the distinction? He's mentioning that they have this pride, right? Yeah. Certain pride. We were talking about this a lot over the weekend. That Krishna, he's speaking the whole Bhagavad-gita, and in one sense, all the Upanishads and that they come from him as well, right? But in the Bhagavad-gita, he says, Arjuna, now I'm going to share with you the most confidential part of all of the Vedic teachings, right? And that has to do with understanding that there's a person behind everything, that there's some, and I am that person. And at the end of that chapter, the 9th chapter, he says, worship me, always think of me, bow down before me, connect with me. And if I'm falsely proud and I hear that message, I cannot relate, and therefore I can't understand the confidential information in these texts. I may read it, even I may hear it, I don't understand it. Because Arjuna wasn't like that, because Arjuna had nothing but love for Krishna. Krishna says, Arjuna, you can hear because you have no envy in you. We can say it's practically the same thing as pride, right? The idea like, I don't need you. That's like pride.
Yeah. If there's nectarial, is it a word, nectarial?
Nectarian?
Nectarian ambrosia coming down, pride clogs the drain. It just will not flow through.
Yes.
Like that?
Yeah, ambrosial
Nectarial ambrosia coming down a drain.
Okay. That's interesting. All right.
It's a drain clogger. Pride's a drain clogger. Write that down, Mara. Drano. You need the holy name, which is the Drano. All right. Scrap that analogy. Well, the holy name. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, it does. 'Cause if there is a clog in the drain, it cuts through the grime and the grease.
Okay.
Because Subas won't have it. Let's just keep going. By authorized Vedic knowledge, one can see. Did I read that? Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Did I skip something?
No, read that. You were right.
47. Okay. By authorized Vedic knowledge, one can see that the forms of cause and effect in the cosmic manifestation belong to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the cosmic manifestation is his energy.
Okay.
Both cause and effect are nothing but energies of the Lord. Therefore, O my Lord, just as a wise man, by considering cause and effect, can see how fire pervades wood, those engaged in devotional service understand how you are both the cause and effect.
Okay. So it's saying, how do we understand that central focus? We have an inquisitive person starts to ask questions about life.
Mm-hmm.
Where does everything come from?
Mm.
Right? Like, how did all of this get to? There's a cause behind all of this. I need to follow it back, try to see what the origin of all of this is. And if I can understand that, then I might be able to understand what is the central purpose of life. Why don't you read the commentary to that verse?
47?
Yeah. Open it up.
Do less, Mara. Do less. Thank you. As described in previous verses, many so-called students of spiritual understanding follow the 10 different methods known as Monavrata, Shruta, Tapo, Dhyayana, Svadharma, Vakya, Raho, Japa, Samadhya.
All those things that had been mentioned.
These
silent, taking vows, accumulating knowledge, etc.
These may be very attractive, but by following such methods, it's like no one in this world. Like in India, it's an attractive thing.
Yeah.
These may be very attractive, but following such methods, one cannot actually understand the real cause and effect and the original cause of everything. The original source of everything is the Supreme Personality of God himself. This
It says the Sarva Karana Karanam.
The cause of all causes, the Sarva Karana Karanam. This original source of everything is Krishna, the supreme ruler. Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. He has the eternal spiritual form. Indeed, he's the root of everything. Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam, right? He's the original seed. Whatever manifestation exists, their cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This cannot be understood by so-called silence or by any other hodgepodge method. But we live in a world of hodgepodge spirituality, don't we?
The hodgepodge
I'll
lodge.
take a little bit from this, Zen master. I'll incorporate that. Take this from my permaculture teacher. He taught me something interesting here. I had a meditation teacher when I was in high school. I like this. And then I got my breathwork guy over here. Put them all together. I'm going to hodgepodge my own spiritual life here together.
It's called the hodgepodge lodge.
It's a hodgepodge lodge. It's like, ever get that feeling where you go to Vegas and you go to or any place that has a
Never go to Vegas.
not a casino. What's that called? Like a salad bar. Where you're like,
Vegas?
oh, salad, great. I love salad. And you're like,
Vegas is known for its salad bars.
they do. They do. You've never the buffets in Vegas. Yeah. I mean, I lived in Nevada in Reno for a period, and it was like we'd go
That's what
there
you
all
took
the
away
time.
from it. That's good. It wasn't prostitution. It wasn't gambling. You took away salad bars.
But in that salad bars, you think, well, it's just going to be salad. No, there's like spaghetti. I'll take a little spaghetti. I like spaghetti. Oh, Chinese
It's like
food. I
those-
love Chinese food. Whatever. So you're taking like almost like every international cuisine on
At
one
once.
plate, and salad and peaches and syrup and cottage, whatever. You're just laying the big piles. And even if you did like those things individually and they had some effect, when mixed all together, everyone felt like hell. It was like the Chinese fought the Italians. That's what was going on in my tummy.
And yet you love the Automart so much? What is it? The Auto
Auto
Grill.
Grill's great. Go there again. Anyone who's traveled through Italy knows those side rest stops are primo, right? We got the pizza maker herself saying it.
Oh, a
It's
pizza.
the Auto Grill, right? It's very, very good.
You finally found someone that
Everybody-
resonates with
I'm just
that.
going to take you. You're going to see.
I've been there.
You haven't been to the good ones.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, that's the point. We hodgepodge our spiritual practice and you end up with indigestion. You don't get the desired result.
Do you remember the Hodgepodge Lodge?
It was something when we
Is
were
that
growing
one of those
up.
PBS shows like After Sesame Street or something like that? I think they did all kind of arts and crafts and stuff like that.
Yeah, it had a squirrel on it.
I don't know. That's what you take away from that. Oh, I
You
see.
get
what
that?
you're
You get
doing.
that
I
little
see.
joke?
What
You
you're
know, the
doing.
squirrel there?
I gotcha. Hey, you haven't finished that commentary.
Oh, Krishna.
No, right? What are you doing?
Going back. Where's we at?
Yeah,
The original
hodge-
source of everything. Hodgepodge. This cannot be understood by so-called silence or any other hodgepodge method. That's a great word. The supreme cause can be understood only by devotional service, as stated in the Bhagavad-gita. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Elsewhere in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the supreme Godhead personally says, Bhaktyaham ikya grayaha. One can understand the original cause of all causes, the supreme person, only by devotional service, not by show bottle exhibitionism.
Okay.
Right? You understand God. I used this analogy yesterday, and I like it. That in the material world,
He's got another analogy. Let's judge this one.
Judge less.
Drain out.
Judge less. No, we can understand the macro. We understand the micro, and in the micro,
Yeah.
we can examine people. We can notice them. We can see their habits, but you can never know them. You can only know a person through love. And when you love a person and they feel safe with you, they reveal their heart to you. They share their anxiety, their fears, their hopes, their dreams, and that's part of love. And hopefully we all have at least one person in our life that we love and that loves us and we feel safe around and we can share some intimate feelings. So Krishna is the same way. We learn to love Krishna and then Krishna starts to reveal himself to us. And with the revealing of himself to us, he gives us causeless knowledge of how to escape the maze of the material world and detachment from the things that I'm gripping onto that are hurting me.
So the analogy was just as love reveals a person's identity in a relationship.
Sure. And not just the external idea, like not just the persona or the bravado that people present. They show their vulnerable side. Krishna shows
That's the
his.
micro.
Yeah, that's in the micro. So in the macro, in our relationship with God, Krishna actually reveals himself to us. He makes himself we start to understand who he is, and he starts to understand who we are. And when we reveal ourselves, because Krishna wants us in our raw, genuine, authentic self. Sometimes we'll go through some personal hell, and we find like, I'm going through hell right now, or my ego is shedding right now, and it's actually a great thing. And Krishna's getting to know me underneath. I've been full of pretense. I've been full of a show bottle. This word
Hodgepodge, show bottle, prideful.
And so part of our evolving in our spiritual life is our fake self cracking away to understand that
Excellent analogy.
gold within.
Excellent.
Yeah, Kostuba.
Thank you. All right.
Kostuba approved analogy.
Okay, let's keep going. We gotta go.
Or is we?
Gotta go back. We gotta go back.
Oh, back to the verse. Text
48.
48. O Supreme Lord, you are actually the air, the earth, the fire, the sky, and the water. You are the objects of sense perception, the life airs, right? The five senses, the mind, the consciousness, and the false ego. Indeed, you are everything subtle and gross, the material elements and anything else and anything expressed, either by words or by the mind, are nothing but you.
Okay. So he was talking about finding the cause, that there's for every effect, there's got to be a cause behind it. He's saying, I see that you are the cause. Everything that we experience, you're the cause behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He's starting to bring us into focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone may do all of these incredible spiritual practices, Mona Vrata, remaining silent, not easy thing to do.
It's powerful.
Yeah,
Sit there,
it's
be
got
silent.
power.
I can't do it.
Okay. Are
Try.
you sure? And or performing austerity or amassing Vedic knowledge, et cetera, et cetera.
Try that. Didn't work.
Again, these are like impressive feats in one sense, but if they're not focused on that one, as Marcus Aurelius was saying, right? You bring everything into that one focus. Otherwise, you're working very hard in this world and you're not getting anywhere. Prahlad's saying that let's figure out what the focus is. What's the target? And that behind every cause, there's this person. Ultimately, there's this Lord Vishnu. So the cause is in all that we're doing becomes in relation to that one central figure. Now we're going to get to the root of yoga. Now we're going to get to the root of all existence. He's not saying don't do these practices, but he says, but if we're prideful, as you're saying, then that who's behind it is never revealed. The reality never opens up until the full picture of it never opens up until we release the pride, until we release the envy, and then you can see everything. Text 49.
Continuing on. Text 48.
49.
Text 49. Neither the three modes of material nature, sattva, rajas, tamas, nor the predominating deities controlling the three modes, nor the five gross elements, nor the mind, nor the demigods, nor the human beings can understand your lordship. For they are all subject to birth and annihilation. Considering this, the spiritually advanced have taken to bhakti, devotional service. Such wise people hardly bother with Vedic study. Instead, they engage themselves in practical devotional service. We saw it this weekend.
Okay.
They saw it this weekend. Some people were like, there were classes going on or kirtans going on, and they were like, you know what? I'm just going to scrub the kitchen. I went in the kitchen last night because somebody came late, and I wanted to make sure there was and everybody's like running around. Miguel, Udi, they're just like running around there, sweeping, cleaning, polishing stuff. It's like, what? This isn't normal activity. I want to stay up late. I'm totally exhausted. I'm going to stay up late and clean things. And that makes no material sense. People are always trying to sneak away. I need a nap. I need to take a break. Is there any leftover dessert? That's what people think generally. Right. I want to stay up late and serve. That's powerful.
When you start to find joy in service, you're starting to understand the message behind it all.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I didn't want to just single out those two. A lot of people have been in that mood all weekend, and it's made everything very sweet. Right? You know what?
What?
I've done lots of yoga retreats in my life as a yoga teacher, but these Wisdom of the Sages retreats are so special because in a yoga retreat, you sort of get a wide, what's the word? Swath? Swath? Thank you. A wide swath of all different people where they're at in their life, spiritually, materially, etc. But it's almost like this Wisdom of the Sages community, they've been growing sort of together. And they sort of get it. They get it like it's not about me, that it's all about evolving through love, through service, through caring, through serving each other. And it makes, in this like little micro experiment, it's so peaceful. And so like, you guys notice that? It's just like, it's easier. It's not like, you're snoring, shut up, or it's like, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be complaining when you're on a yoga retreat. And you might have a lot of friends who'll be like, I would never sleep in a bunk, not paying money to sleep in a bunk on a Saturday, and waking up at 5, forget it. But it takes a type of like tolerance, which we cherish, compassion, which we cherish, not criticizing, not finding fault with people. It's easy to find fault when you're crammed together and, someone's annoying you and someone's talking your ear off. You don't want to talk to them. And it's just like a sweet environment of bhakti yoga. And you could just automatically see how you add bhakti to your life. You can have peace in your life. You got peace in your family. And you put it into your town, you got peace in your town. You put it in your nation, you have peace in your nation. You put it in the world, you have peace in the world.
Thank you. Raghunath just gave us the plan for world peace.
You're welcome.
It is.
Do I have to think of everything here?
Apparently. I think Prahlad had it before you over here, but no, this is very significant. So he's saying, and this is going exactly to what you're saying, Raghunath. He's saying, even the devas, he goes ahead and he says, even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, right? Because he said the guna avatars. So he's saying that all our accomplishments as yogis,
Mhm.
no matter how austere we are, no matter how learned we are, it doesn't reveal the full truth. You don't understand who's behind all of this. And he said, and then he says this. So therefore, such wise men hardly bother with Vedic study. That's like a very significant statement.
Yeah.
You know, that you could take all of these yogis and sages, these bearded, you know, readers of these texts, these great teachers and masters, and he's saying the ones that really, and they're all saying the path is knowledge. It's jnana is the way. You need to read these books, study them, contemplate them, and you will become free and understand everything.
It's the opposite of everything that we're thinking, isn't it?
Well, it's definitely a big shift in terms of like the message of how people interpret the Vedic literature. And he's saying, so Prahlad is standing before Lord Vishnu. He's been promoted in front of all the different devas and universal rulers as the one that's closest to God. And he's been pushed forward. You're the one that should speak. And he starts saying things that seem to contradict. They don't actually contradict, but they just bring everything into clear focus. But they seem to contradict a lot of the yogic teachings and, you know, Vedic ideas. He's saying the wise people, they hardly mess with Vedic study at all, right? Instead, they serve you. You know, they serve you without any pride. They serve you without any ego. They serve you without any envy. And that opens up everything. As you were saying, when you actually show love. In other words, it's almost like saying, if you want to understand the universe, you have to show love to the universe. If you leave aside all selfishness, all self-centered concern, which love requires, and serve in that mood, then everything becomes revealed. And so therefore he's raising bhakti. Prahlad's raising bhakti to a higher status than jnana in the Bhagavatam.
Should we do another?
Yeah.
Therefore, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, the best of all persons to whom prayers are offered, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, without rendering 6 kinds of devotional service
Unto you.
Offering prayers, dedicating all the results of activities, worshiping you, working on your behalf, always remembering your lotus feet, and hearing about your glories. Who can achieve that which is meant for the Paramahamsa?
So important. Right? If we go back to Marcus Aurelius, right? He says something. It's quite it almost sounds impractical or undoable, but right, people who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse towards. But Prahlad is speaking about how every thought, every impulse can be directed in that towards that one purpose, right? How it can all be dovetailed into it.
Text 51, the last one. The great saint said, thus Lord Nrsingadev was pacified by the devotee Prahlad Maharaj with prayers offered from the transcendental platform. The Lord gave up his anger, and being very kind to Prahlad, who was offering prostrated obeisances, he spoke as follows. We're about to hear from Nrsingadev tomorrow.
Yes, the paw will come out.
Oh, this is like that Brady Bunch episode where they're like, next on the Brady Bunch, they got lost in the Grand Canyon. There's no cliffhangers in TV anymore because you're like, I'm watching the whole season.
Do we have take?
Hey, Miss Mara's got some takeaways, little tasty nuggets to take with us through the course of the day when we forget.
Life needs a central purpose.
Yeah. Let's get Kostuba's head in here too. Come here, Kostuba. Lean in.
What is your why?
What's your why? What's the why that'll make you cry? I like that.
It's a rhymes.
It rhymes. And those
Make
are
you
easy.
die.
What's your
Perfect.
why that you're
willing to die.
willing to die
For.
and cry while you're dying? What's the why? Meaning the thing that's just, yeah, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I'm working so hard. Okay.
Do more of what facilitates connection to the divine.
I like that.
It's our duty to find the delicate balance of medicine.
Administering the medicine
Just enough so that it will kill them without you being detected.
is give more.
False pride blocks confidential knowledge.
Oh,
We hodgepodge spiritual practice and end up with indigestion.
my breathwork teacher mixed up with my Reiki master, mixed up with my.
Evolving in spiritual life is the cracking of the false show bottle ego.
Okay.
Cracking of the show bottle. I like that, Mara. Did you come up with that?
Oh, me and Prabhupada.
With the cracking of the show bottle.
Release pride and envy to see the full picture.
Let him go.
Add bhakti to find peace.
Okay.
Oh yeah, add bhakti to find peace. Raghunath.
And pride is a drain clogger.
Ooh.
And the holy name is the Drano.
Plunger. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're doing this again tomorrow, 7 a.m. tomorrow. 7 a.m. We're back on target. Woo! Remember, we got our trip to India. Pilgrimage to India is happening. Miko, Stupa, and Mara. We're going to all holy places. Super excited for this. Vrindavan, Jagannath Puri, the banks of the Ganga, and Rishikesh, the home of yoga, Haridwar, and Uday Parnatwar. Oh, I'm very super excited for that. Check out raghunath.yoga. What else is happening? Speak less, Raghunath. Speak less. Speak more, man. Speak more. Thanks everybody for joining us here at the farm. Oh, we're gonna wind it up and have breakfast. It's a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Wow, let the magic continue to flow in a big honey bowl.